G'day folks, I'm Mitchell Dale and this is Rugby League Week's Friday Arvo Footy. Joined on the couch today, as always, by Martin Lenihan and Eric Groth. Boys, we're sheltered from the rain, but the pleasures of shooting this in an airport hangar is that it's a little bit loud in here.
Yeah, beautiful day, boys, but all warm and dry in here, and a huge weekend coming up.
Making me very sleepy, a little bit like when you go on too long on camera, mate.
Right, firstly, James Tedesco, boys, big backflip during the week, signed with the Raiders, had second thoughts. Canberra have missed out on another one.
Yeah, look, they do have a cooling off period, these contracts, so if you want to make an excuse for the kid, that's it. For me, very poor form, I'm sorry, but look, Canberra having a horror run with these blokes trying to get down. We did actually speak about how hard it was for Canberra to attract players. Timmy Moulton from the Tigers did it before. I reckon it's pretty ordinary, to be honest.
Let's not forget Josh Papali did it last year, and the Raiders, I feel for the Raiders, I feel for their fans in particular, but the Raiders were trying to get Anthony Milford to do exactly the same thing on his contract with Brisbane for next year.
Mate, I would love to have a GoPro on Ricky Stewart right now. I'd love to be seeing what he'd be doing to the place he's in, mate. Yeah, he's got every right to be filthy. The cooling off period thing, I didn't realise it was that easy just to say, nah, changed my mind, thanks but no thanks. It's, you know, he's a good kid, Tedesco, and from all reports he's a great bloke, you know. I don't know what he's, you know, in that term of things, but yeah, mate, it's just poor form.
Look, I think the other thing it does show is the power of the close-knit Tigers group and the kids there. I think that was the one thing that he said. He was torn because he didn't want to leave his mates that he's grown up playing footy with, and there is that thought that the Tigers are on the cusp of something pretty big with all these young kids coming through.
Well, what's good is that they can't just go and sign for another club. They have to stay at the remaining club. At least that's a decent kind of clause in that contract. But yeah, it's just too easy these days, isn't it?
I think he turned up at training on Tuesday and the boys could see he was pretty upset. But look, he's gone all the way down there. He's passed up a bit of money here. The Canberra deal was a lot better. Robbie Farah had a good chat to him. Now, if you're going to take some advice from someone, Robbie Farah was obviously very helpful to him, and he realised he wanted to stay. I think, as you said, Eric, they've got to do something about this law. I think that you can be guaranteed to a club. Of course, he was feeling a bit homesick. You're going to miss the guys that you've been playing with, but I just don't think they can let him off the hook that easy. Or we're just going to have things chopping and changing all the time.
Yeah, you're right. I think what was good that he didn't make up a bullcrap story. He said, look, I've made a mistake. I want to stay here at the Tigers, and he could have come up with something, you know, like people have in the past. But yeah, to his credit, he was very honest. Yeah,
look, it's not like he got extra money to stay with the Tigers or anything like that. I think it was a pretty genuine excuse there. But as I said, boys, you've got to feel sorry for the Raiders. They've had a crack at 4 blokes now. Looks like they're going to miss out on all of them. Massive game tonight, boys. I would say one of the best Friday night games we've had all year. The Dogs against the Sea Eagles at Brookvale Oval. Caught up with a couple of Bulldogs forwards this week. They are foaming at the mouth. They can't wait to go.
Oh yeah, it's always a hard slog, you know, against Manly. So you know, I guess the forwards, us forwards, have to be on our game and really slog it out, I guess, and win the battle if we're to have any chance.
Oh yeah, we're expecting that the best Manly team. We know what they're all about. They've got some real quality players there and. Especially being at home at Brookvale, it's a really difficult place to go. So, we're expecting a really tough game.
Yeah, mate, huge game. So I'm probably going to sit at home and curl up with a blanket and watch this one. A couple of players could be playing themselves into an Origin jersey too. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Also, maybe playing themselves out of a game. You never know.
Yeah, well, that's right. I mean, as the two Canterbury blokes said. Huge forward packs, both of them. That's where it's going to be won and lost.
Absolutely. Look, Manly are 6 out of 7 at home this year, so they're flying, but the Bulldogs are 4 out of 5 away. So up in the top 4, both of them going to be a fantastic clash. I think Jason King also said during the week all these games are won in the middle. That's where it'll be on for young and old. I think James Graham has established himself as one of the premier props, and the Bulldogs are really flying this year. But we also caught up with Kieran Foran to see what he thinks about just trying to control the big guys at Canterbury.
Yeah, it is going to be a big challenge for us. They're sitting first for a reason. Like you said, their big boys are getting them up the field, and they're putting the polish on the end of it. So, big game for us. Big bounce back game after last weekend's loss. Yeah, it's hard to contain, especially the amount of big boys they've got and how hard they're running, and you know, they seem to always be in support with one another. So it is hard to contain, but you know, it's something our forward pack, I'm sure, has spoken about through the week, and look, we'll just have to aim up there.
Massive game tonight, boys. I can't wait for this. The clash in the middle is going to be spectacular. Leno, who's your tip?
Look, I'm going to go for the Bulldogs, mate. They've been unbelievable this year, very good away from home. Some of the best forwards in the comp there in James Graham and Aidan Tolman leading the way. I guarantee it'll be better than last Friday. That was an absolute shocker. We had a terrible round last week. I think it's going to be a fantastic game, doggies for me.
I'm going to go against Leno. I'm going to go with Manly, Chocky Watmow and Cherry Evans back. Yeah, it's a welcoming sight. I think Manly are in for a win. Yeah,
Manly will certainly be a lot better with Cherry Evans and Watmow there. I'm taking the Bulldogs. I just can't fault them through the middle, boys. I just think they've been way too strong. Halves, playing with confidence, and I do enjoy disagreeing with you, Eric, so it's the Bulldogs for me. Okay, Asada, boys, they've wasted a lot of time. I don't want to waste too much time on this. Earlier in the week, though, Shandor Earl, the only bloke they had fingered for this, doesn't appear to be in Asada's crosshairs anymore. For all the chest beating about the darkest day in world sport, it's been 20 months and we haven't had a lot of action.
Yeah, and you never hear from them either. The only people that ever seem to make comments about them are two ex-employees. Like, where's their spokesperson? Like, what have they got to say about it all? They can't just.
I don't think they've got much to say. That's the thing.
That's what I mean. They're just keeping quiet because it's as if they just don't have anything. So they're just hoping something pops up somewhere. It doesn't look good. Doesn't look good on their behalf at all.
Yeah, look, I think the Sandor Earl one is interesting. The bloke has admitted that he injected an illegal substance, so he's in a lot of trouble with the NRL. Although I think now his legal team, there's a bit of manoeuvring there. He'll probably get a shorter ban on a technicality, I think. So you watch this space with him. But Asada, really, I mean, it was just an overblown statement 18 months ago. As you said, darkest day in Australian sport.
That makes me think that they had nothing on Sandor Earl, so Asada just went, look, we don't need that headache as well. That's NRL's now. He's admitted that. They can deal with that. We've got to find something ourselves. Like, that just doesn't...
Yeah, I think the NRL came out talking tough this week because they started to look bad on the Sandor Earl thing, so they wanted to make it clear that he did something wrong and they are going to punish him. They came out hard, but, geez, it's a bit of a mess at the moment. And I guess Cronulla, we're waiting, Essendon as well in the AFL. It still sounds like there will be sanctions, but, you know, when this statement was first made a year and a half ago, you'd think they would have had something to kick it off right then.
Yeah, it's got to be some sort of timeline when they say, okay, a lot of people have done a lot of things wrong. What, and you just don't speak for a year? Like, how's that work?
Yeah, they really talked it up. To me, boys, it just sounds like a bit of a political stunt on what was an election year last year, and it's all just...
Well, it didn't work for Labor, did it?
Well, it's all fizzling out, and it seems that Shandor Earl is now the NRL's problem. Asada don't want to know about it. That time of the week, we have the Encouragement Award. It's a bit wobbly these days. What have you been doing to it, Eric?
Don't touch it, mate. Just leave it alone. It's all right. The Encouragement Award this week is going to go to this fella. Lee Mossop, son of Rex. No, he's not. Yeah, mate, he had never seen a snake before, probably in other areas of the dressing sheds, but none in his locker, and he got a nice little surprise. So, welcome to Australia, Lee, and good luck in your debut this week, mate.
It was a fair prank. You seen any? What's the best prank that you've seen?
Well, one day there's this. You get some wrap for the ice, like it's like Glad wrap. It's like a strong Glad wrap, and Adam Peake and myself, I just gave it myself on camera. We wrapped up Michael Vella's car completely, so he went on one side, I rolled it under, he threw it over, rolled under. It took us about half an hour, but yeah, he struggled to get home before peak hour that afternoon.
And how did he take it?
He was filthy. He actually sprayed all our bags with fire extinguisher, and then for about a year after that, Adam Peake actually jumped sides. I don't know how this happened, and he kept cutting our socks and undies out. So you'd put your socks on, it'd come up to your knee, or your undies would come up to your nipples.
Boys. So it goes.
Rugby league. Intelligent bunch of men.
Just finally, to turn it back to serious footy for a second, Lee Mossop, really interested to see how he goes tonight. Very good player from England, test player from England. Had shoulder surgery, so this will be his first chance to have a crack to rip and tear in the NRL.
Yeah, look, the Eels are coming off a very bad loss last weekend, so I think they need a bit more punch. Obviously, they missed Jared Hayne big time, but one bloke doesn't make that much of a difference. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can add a bit of firepower in the forwards.
Yeah, he's a bit of a toiler, isn't he? He's in the mould of Gary Larson type. Not so much an explosive guy like the Sam Burgesses and that, but yeah, Parra could do with that. They've got a lot of explosive players, so it's a great inclusion, I think.
Yep. It would be good to see. Boys, thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back next week with another episode of Friday Arvo Footy.